Thank you for joining us this morning to the official Fire Prevention Week kickoff and Firefighter Memorial Ceremony. This event this morning gives us the opportunity to officially kick fire prevention off. As a fire department, we are in the business of protecting and saving lives, and fire prevention is our greatest tool that we use in that effort. So it gives us an opportunity to educate the public on what to do or what not to do to keep your family safe at home. At the same time, it gives us the opportunity to pay tribute to those who have given their all while protecting others. So I will begin the ceremony by asking Louisville Division Fire Chaplain Melvin Little to render the invocation.
Thank you and welcome. Those that would, if you would bow your heads with us. Gracious Father, we are gathered here today to remember these firefighters who have paid the ultimate sacrifice with their lives while serving their communities. We remember that as they lived knowing that death was a possibility, they died in their pursuit of saving lives and property. We also remember this period of time that has been designated as Fire Prevention Month. We ask for your grace and protection during this time. We thank you for all things. Amen. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming out today. Thank you, Chaplain, and thanks to everybody for being here with us today as we remember the fallen firefighters in our city, in our nation, and remind our citizens of the need to be vigilant in preventing and surviving fires. This year, we've added 2 names to our memorial, one just yesterday. That's in honor of former McMahon Fire Chief Joseph Johnson III, who died of cancer-related causes in 2016. You'll be hearing in a moment from McMahon's current chief. With the second edition, we've corrected a very old oversight by adding the name of Edward Ryder, a Louisville firefighter who died in the line of duty in 1915. Some of his family, including his great-grandniece, Cheryl Rothgerber, who called this to our attention, is here today. So thank you, Cheryl, to you for helping us set this right. Nice job. I want to thank the families of both these firefighters for their sacrifices on behalf of our community. We were all reminded of those sacrifices again just a few weeks ago at the funeral of Louisville Fire Sergeant Tim Groft. I was honored to speak at Tim's funeral because, as I said that day, he proudly lived out our city value of compassion. That's because he came to work every day, prepared to put the safety of others ahead of his own, just like Edward Ryder, Joe Johnson, and all the firefighters gathered here today and across our great nation. That's what our first responders sign up to do and train for, and I know I join all of you all in being grateful for these brave souls. I know Tim's mom and dad, Linda and Chris, and his brothers, Louisville firefighters Pat and Nick Groft, are with us today. I want to acknowledge you all and thank you all once again for this tremendous sacrifice that you all have made, and really the love that your all's family has shown so deeply to our entire community. So God bless you all. Thank you very much for your son. We gather today to grieve for and remember all our fallen firefighters, to honor their memories and their sacrifices. We also gather to celebrate all of our first responders, those men and women who we know bravely rush in when others are rushing out. I want to thank everybody that's involved with public safety, and especially our firefighters today, for all the great work that you all have done today and throughout your careers. We do not take it for granted on any day, so please accept our thanks on behalf of the entire city. Let's also remember that today is a day where we can all become more alert as citizens. As we begin National Fire Prevention Week, we're reminded that keeping our firefighters and ourselves safe starts with prevention. The theme of Fire Prevention Week this year is Every Second Counts, planned 2 ways out. It's meant to remind us all of the importance of home escape planning, including things that will assist our firefighters, like making sure your house number is clearly marked. As mayor, public safety obviously is my #1 job, and I encourage all citizens to take the steps that Chief Frederick, Fire Marshal Muir, and Chief Walsh will talk about today to ensure you're ready in the case of an emergency, because obviously that will protect you and your family and the men and women who are our first responders. So thank you for being here today, and now I'd like to present this proclamation from the city to Chief Walsh. Chief, thank you for your great leadership, keeping our citizens safe. So we're presenting this to you this year on behalf of all of our fire chiefs here in our city for the great job that you do day in and day out. Thank you very much.
Good morning. Each year we recognize October as Fire Prevention Month. We take time to increase our efforts in fire safety and public education. We recognize the hundreds of people that have lost their lives in fires across our nation, and we take time to honor our own local heroes, our fallen firefighters. Today we remember and honor the Louisville and Jefferson County firefighters that made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. This memorial stands as a constant reminder of the dangers of our profession and the courageous acts these men performed in their service to others. The oath we are sworn to uphold requires a dedication to serve our community and a charge that we perform our duty to the best of our ability. It is a commitment we honor every day that we put on the uniform. In this profession, we understand and accept that there are times we are placed in harm's way. We understand there are risks that firefighters must take in order to protect each other, to protect our citizens, and protect their property. We recognize the names on this monument, firefighters that carried out their duty, that fulfilled their promise, and died in their efforts to save others. They gave their lives doing what they loved. While we pay respect to these brave men here today, more importantly, we must honor them by changing the future, improving the way we protect our citizens, and the commitment to keep our firefighters safe. The world we live in is changing constantly. The buildings, the vehicles, the technology, they're different now than they were just a few short years ago. And we have to work harder to focus on protecting our firefighters from harm. As a culture, the fire service must continue to implement programs, training, and policies that make our profession safer. We must remain vigilant in protecting each other, and by doing so, we commemorate our fallen brothers and sisters across the nation. We honor the past by changing the future.
Good morning. In October of 1871, the city of Chicago suffered one of the greatest losses due to fire in American history. Severe drought conditions, high winds, and wood construction employed in over 2/3 of all the structures in the city contributed to the spread of fire that killed over 250 people and burned 2,000 acres of dense urban area. Starting in a small barn, it quickly burned throughout the city's wooden sidewalks, roads, houses, warehouses, coal yards, lumber yards, and rail yards. The extreme winds were powerful enough to propel the flying embers from across the Chicago River, furthering the devastation. In the end, it destroyed 17,000 buildings and caused damage costing $200 million in 1871 money, the equivalent of $3.7 billion today. 1 year later, the Chicago City Council rewrote their building code to make required fire-resistant materials in new construction. It was President Calvin Coolidge in 1925 who initiated the tradition of recognizing this event this week as Fire Prevention Week. In the 146 years since the Great Chicago Fire, there have been reforms, catastrophes, new fire codes, more catastrophes, and updated fire codes. This year's theme for Fire Prevention Week is Every Second Counts. Plan 2 ways out. You may have as little as 2 minutes to safely escape a typical home fire from the time the smoke alarm sounds. The National Fire Prevention Association and Underwriters Laboratories report that 30 years ago you had up to 17 minutes to get out of your house. This drastic reduction in escape time comes down to synthetic materials used in modern furniture and decorations. On average, 7 people die every day in U.S. home fires. The majority of these injuries and fatalities involve cooking, heating equipment, or smoking materials. The United States has an average of 358,000 home structure fires per year, causing 2,500 fatalities, 12,000 injuries, and $6.7 billion in direct damage. Make your home escape plan for your family. Practice it with your kids. 60% of all fire deaths occur in homes with no working smoke alarms. Working smoke alarms reduce your chance of dying by 50%. The Louisville Division of Fire urges you to make sure your family knows what they sound like and to test yours regularly. If you need assistance with testing or replacing your smoke alarms, please contact 311 and we will ensure that you and your family are protected. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Our last speaker of the morning, McMahon Fire Department Fire Chief, Colonel Pat Walsh.
Good morning. Thank you all for gathering here as we celebrate not only the beginning of fire prevention, beginning of Fire Prevention Week, but most importantly, we gather to remember all of our brothers and sisters who have gone before us by making the ultimate sacrifice. This is a very special place. It is somewhat ironic that nestled here in the hustle and bustle of a very vibrant and busy city center is such a somber and peaceful place to reflect. This square is home to memorials for both firefighters and police officers who have given their lives in service to protect others. To all of us, they are heroes, but I'm sure they would all just say that they were just doing their job. This firefighter memorial was placed here in Jefferson Square in 1996 it was a joint project between what was at the time Louisville and Jefferson County governments. Sculptor Barney Bright was commissioned to create this beautiful statue of a firefighter with a baby in one arm and the other hand holding the hand of a little girl. He was trying to reflect the firefighter's primary mission to save lives. I think that he did that quite well. Today, more than 20 years later, this monument still serves as a permanent reminder of our fallen heroes. Permanently engraved around the base so that we will never forget are the names of 82 firefighters from Metro Louisville who have given their lives serving others. The very first recorded firefighter line of duty death was that of firefighter Jack Hunt, who died in 1874. The most recent name that is very special to me was added just yesterday. It is retired Chief Joe Johnson from McMahon Fire Department. Joe was a friend to many of us who are in attendance today. Every name on this memorial has a story and a family who they left behind well before their time. The base of the memorial also contains the prayer that brings those of us in the fire service comfort daily, the firefighter's prayer. I have one message that I hope that we can all take away from here today. Each one of those heroes died doing what they love. I hope that all of us who continue to serve in the fire service will do what we can to make sure that their sacrifices were not in vain. The newest name on this memorial is a result of cancer. It is no secret that cancer is now the #1 cause of death for firefighters. There have been many more of our brothers and sisters who have been taken away way too early, even as recently as a couple of weeks ago here at Louisville with Sergeant Tim Groft. I think we all know a firefighter who has battled or is currently battling cancer. Please make sure that all of you do what you can to educate and protect yourself, and let us never forget our fallen comrades. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Now I would like to invite everybody to stick around. This concludes our ceremony, as we are like everybody to stick around and join some of the firehouse cooked chili that we serve every year. This year, thanks to Jefferson County Fire and our Fire Prevention Bureau. So please stick around and enjoy. Thank you for joining us.
Super spicy. I don't want that.